Gentlemen, welcome back to the greatest show in Call of Duty history. It's The Storm, hosted by your host, OG Susano, and LightningDaJoke. Joining us today, a special guest from down under into the south, ready to drop down from the top ropes. It is Phil Phenomm. What's
good,
up,
everybody?
Phil? What's
good?
up? How you doing,
Not
Phil?
much. I'm doing pretty well. Everybody's sick, so I'm pretty glad I didn't get sick. So I'm doing all right. I'm doing great actually. So and it's 70 degrees out. It's nice in Texas.
Oh yeah. Oh,
That's
you're telling me. I'm just a skipping the pond from you. So I know what you mean. I'm loving this weather right now.
Pretty good. I can't lie.
Mike,
Yeah,
how you doing, Mike?
it's a nice day outside for me too. I'm not gonna lie. However, I've been bedridden for like 2 days with the flu already, so I'm just kind of chilling, just kind of here, enjoying the vibes. But yeah,
How was the traveling for both of y'all?
honestly, I flew Spirit on the way over there, and it was kind of uncomfortable. But like for the ticket price, it was okay. And then I flew JetBlue on the way back, and I got to watch like movies while I was coming back, and the chairs were really nice. And
Wow.
yeah, honestly,
Uh,
I was vibing. I was vibing.
on the way back, I was checked. I had to fly to Baltimore, and I changed my flight because I was gonna leave Monday night or be home on Monday night, and I was like, nah, like I'm not doing that. So I changed my flight to Sunday morning, and I totally forgot the Ravens are playing the Chiefs that day. I flew to fucking Baltimore. I flew to Baltimore. I'm like, what am I doing? So I
Yeah.
fly to Baltimore, and there's a bunch of Chiefs fans. And then right before takeoff, the stewardess is like, "Hey, this is gonna be a really, really bumpy ride. Yeah, so like, there's no food or drink." I'm like, I was checked, absolutely checked. We get to 10,000 feet, my plane's doing this, and I hate flying in general. And I'm sitting here trying to watch my movie, and I'm just checked the whole ride. But from Baltimore to Dallas, it was great. I fell asleep, so, but
So.
but
Oh,
yeah.
and I lost my AirPods the day back. Travel day
No.
back. I lost my AirPods.
Oh no, that's bad, bro. I hate that.
Top 10 worst things that can happen to you on a flight day, man. Travel
It's
day.
so bad.
Losing the earphones, man, or the
I,
earphones.
I feel like everybody loses their AirPods. I swear, like everybody does, like straight up.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's a tough one, but glad you guys are here. I know Mike's a little under the weather. Thanks for hopping on, and Phil, your beast as always, coming in here helping out. So
Oh, fair.
really appreciate it. But you know, we got to talk about where we've been. It has been a minute since the last episode of season 2, episode 1, where we did it with Azure Anarchy, Abby, and Tyler Noisy. And the simple fact of the matter is, there was a lot of obscurity where we didn't know if the show was going to still be able to operate, if we were within the SOP of Call of Duty, if YouTube was going to strike us down. There was a whole lot of hoopla and legal loopholes that I was having to research and look into, and I was not getting any word back from Activision or from anybody. And so, we just decided, let's just slow it down for now. Let's see what Scump, let's see what Zuma's doing, if they're still doing their shows. And they are. And so then I just assumed at that point, okay, look, we won't show any clips really, but we can still kind of talk about the Call of Duty sphere world that we're living in right now. And there is a lot to talk about. So there was kind of, a bit of some obscurity, but we're back. Glad to be here. We're going to be running another show before Miami, which we'll talk about towards the end of today's show. But kind of going into it right now, boys, it was kind of a weird weekend. Not going to lie. I mean, you look at it right here, just with what was going on this weekend. I mean, there were some weird things going on in the background that nobody knew about from Activision, from the CDL. A lot of layoffs occurred, and people were having to put this major on with that kind of looming over them. And so we kind of go into this, what were your guys' initial feelings about some of these rosters before we hopped into this major? I'll start with you,
got that
Phil.
first.
We'll
Yeah,
start
so
with you,
Phil.
Phil.
So I thought personally, like, the top teams was going to be Toronto, FaZe, New York, and Optic, and then everybody else is below them. Uh, Personally, I thought Boston going into the year could be an X Factor team. That could be a team that could get in that top four, maybe the top three. But for the most part, like I said, I think the best team was going to be New York, and I think Toronto and FaZe were going to fight for number two, and then Optic was going to be four. That was my initial thought. And then like the rest of the teams, like like Minnesota blew me out of like I was mind blown. Minnesota got top four, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, that's like, I'm mind blown. So, what sucks is that they're gonna be playing on the new patch. So a lot of these teams is gonna be flip flop again. Like someone could be worse or someone could be better. Like teams like New York, I think New York's gonna be disgusting on this new patch. Like really good.
Yeah.
So, but I guess my expectations like of who was gonna win the tournament, I wasn't really surprised. The only team, like I said, I was surprised about was definitely Miami not playing good.
Oh yeah.
And Minnesota playing good. So, and I guess LAG too. LAG's up there. I'm kind of, I was kind of mind blown, but we have Kev there. Kev's the goat. So,
Shout out Kev.
Yeah. So, I guess that like, I didn't think they were gonna get that far, but they looked pretty good. I mean, they're one map away for getting top four.
Yeah.
So that's a huge improvement from years prior.
It is. Yeah,
Mike?
I think the biggest standout to me, honestly, of the whole thing was subliners getting slammed. Like, I had subliners winning. I had subliners winning the event. Honestly, to be honest with you, and they didn't really do much at all. But I do think with the new patch, honestly, I don't think this was like subliners. We all know how good they are, and I mean they just got 3-0'd, I think both times. I don't even know, but
They got 3-0'd and then 3-1'd.
yeah, like I think they're gonna come back and they're gonna be disgusting. And Rocker doing really really well was kind of crazy, honestly. And the fact that LAG Kev, my boy, almost got top four, if they just won that map 5 would have been insane. Honestly, I had FaZe. Once NYSL was out, honestly, I thought FaZe was gonna win. But that last day, like that Sunday, Ultra was just looking insane. Like they were not missing a beat at all. So it was pretty crazy to watch. And then the Heretics, I got to agree with Phil. I thought the Heretics would do way better, but they got 3-0'd. So kind of crazy.
With that team, I've been hearing shit that they have. I'm not calling them onliners, but I've heard they're really good online because they have a certain internet connection, and it's called dark fiber. You guys heard about that, right?
Whoa, what the?
Never heard
No.
about that.
Yeah, so I guess FaZe, what's it called, the LA teams and Miami Heretics have that. It's called dark fiber. I never heard of it before, and like, I'm from Cali and I had cable, and now I have fiber in Texas, and there's a difference, but like, with how technology is progressing and stuff like that, like dark fiber sounds terrifying just to even think about it.
Just to even say it, yeah.
That sounds terrifying. Imagine playing against someone who has dark fiber online. They could be good on land, but I'm just playing that. Like you have no chance.
Yeah.
Absolutely no chance. Maybe they just had a bad tournament. Maybe they just had a
Maybe.
bad tournament. They could have just had a bad tournament, but I mean, did they even win a map?
No,
Heretics?
they did
No,
not.
they got 3-0,
They got double 3-0. They spawned in for 6 maps and went home. That is, I mean, my initial thoughts coming in, look, I was riding the FaZe train. I was like, Drazilla is going to come out and he's going to do amazing things. I expected him to come out and just absolutely banana whamma slam some of these players. And, for the most part, it was kind of true. They 3-0 LAG. They beat Optic in a map 5, which was a banger. That banger series
Yeah,
there.
I watched that one live. It was crazy.
A banger series.
That was a good series. I mean, seriously.
It was.
I wish the map 5 was more interesting, but the whole series was crazy.
Oh yeah. And then they go to FaZe and FaZe go to the Ultra and Ultra just manhandled them, like quite literally manhandled them, and that was a surprise to me. Now all the Toronto boys were in my DMs, not Toronto players, but Toronto fanboys were going hard in my DMs, calling me out, saying that I was picking FaZe to win. I stuck to my guns like a true Texan, and I did not want to give up, and so I kept them in my heart, but then they just got the beat down on Optic 3-1, and then they go back to the drawing board for the grand finals, and Ultra 4-1 though. Gosh dang, that was not what I expected at all, man.
Well, what I've seen in the last couple of years is phased or respawn has been like the problem with the team. I mean, they have. I'm assuming Tupac's still on the roster, right, as a coach? Like,
I believe so, yes.
Yeah. So, but if I'm not mistaken, they won the S&D, didn't they?
On which series?
I believe so. I believe so.
In the winners finals and the grand finals.
I believe it was Control, actually.
Really?
Yeah, they won the Control. Yeah, 3-1.
Wow. Okay. Because usually, FaZe, they've been winning the S&Ds, and the respawns have been the problem. I mean, they lost the respawns versus Optic too. I mean, they nuzzled them.
Yeah. Both those hard points that they played against Ultra though in finals are so close too.
I mean, like it was kind of crazy because you see the first map, they go in, balls to the wall, 11-point differential of a game, 250 to 239. Then they go to search and destroy, where for some reason Toronto were just so much more comfortable. It had to have gone down in the vetoes because Skid Row, they were moving really well, utilizing top third, top AC, playing within red, just kind of interweaving within each other, playing very, comfortable but precise and trusting in each other. Those are the three things I had on my notes, that they were precise, they were comfortable, and they trusted in each other in every play. They hop to the Control. It looks a little shaky. Not too bad, but they still come out with the L against FaZe. But then again, they go to the hard point, and it's on Skid Row. It was looking a bit back and forth at times, but Toronto came out 250 to 237, and now that's a 13-point differential of a game. So then you go to the S&D. At this point, you boys know. Once you're out of a hard point that's neck and neck, and all of a sudden you just feel like the air just got popped out of you. Now you have to go to S&D. What are you guys thinking when you're in those moments? Because clearly it just felt like there was no more tank in the gas, or no more gas in the tank.
No more tank in the gas.
To be honest with you, I actually have a short story. So at BO4 Miami, when it was a matchup qualifier for champs, we actually got 90-point clubbed map 1. We got destroyed. It was Arsenal Hardpoint. And then we put Arsenal S&D. And I won't forget this. Foncho and I clutched a 2v4. I clutched a 1v2, and he clutched a 1v1. And we 6-1 them. And I knew the fucking, like, they literally felt like the air went out of the tank, or the gas went out of the tank type of thing for them after we just got 90-point club. So I guess my mindset is, if you lose map 1, just take the S&D, no matter what. Just tie it up, 1-1. If you 6-1 them or 6-0 them, like, I think they're checked after that. They're like, damn, like, we gotta, like, and their mindset is like, we gotta win every respawn. So it puts a lot of pressure on them. So, but I'm very surprised that FaZe just got destroyed like that in S&D, especially on a map like Skid Row, which I feel like those type of players on that team would play really well on that map. But Skid Row S&D is a weird map. I can't lie. It's very timing based from what I've been playing this year.
Yeah, it is. It's very, I feel like almost like one-dimensional a little bit. Like, feels a lot like Albagra S&D, how there's only like a couple of ways you can really play that map in S&D, to be honest
I
with
tell you what, I'd rather play Albagra just because I feel like there's more stuff to do. I feel like Skid Row, there's like, you just got to go inside hallway, and it's like I said, it's just timing based. Throw a smoke top plat and just hit up there and hope to God to get a good timing, and it's TDM at that point.
Yeah, it's wild that you said there's more stuff to do on Albagra than Skid Row, which is crazy.
I think Skid Row S&D is definitely the worst S&D map. I don't think nobody would disagree.
Oh
with
yeah,
that.
I agree with you. It's just so easy to play, I feel.
Yeah.
I mean, I gotta just from a competitive standpoint, as a ranked enjoyer, because I haven't spawned up in any lobbies like that. I definitely feel that Skid Row has a lot more variability than Albagra, just because of the verticality and the routes that you could potentially run. But at the end of the day, it's that classic Call of Duty 3-lane map. You have your mid lane, you have your outer lanes. You know, you have your containers, then you have your apartments, like, and then the middle hall.
I think Hardpoint plays really well. I think Hardpoint plays pretty
I
well.
agree.
I, I I don't know what it is. I just think um the way that the timings work on offense, the fact that they can get the top plat so much quicker, and
Yes,
the,
yes. And back
I,
alley and their window room. And, like,
yes,
it's insane. They can literally watch everything that you would need to make a play from. The only play you
yes,
can really do is like tunnel, but even then they can still just watch that off spawn too.
yeah, exactly. I'm wondering if they would need to move the bomb site, but without even changing anything. Like I don't
No,
know,
the timing
like
would
that.
still be the same. They'd still get there. They would need to move the spawn if anything.
Yeah, it's that map is just it's just so weird to me the way it plays out. I don't know what it is. I guess on paper it doesn't like look that bad. For respawn, I think it's great. I think it's one of the best hardpoint maps in the game, like, for sure.
I
I think it's
I like that one definitely 100%. It's definitely a much more preferred map in the pool than say like Terminal Hardpoint. Goodness gracious.
oh yeah, I think the best hardpoint maps are for sure like probably Skid Row. I know some people don't like the new Invasion. I like
I
it.
I like the new terminal a lot.
The old terminal I thought it
Honestly.
was better than the new terminal, in my opinion. Um, but I like the Invasion hardpoint now. I think it's a lot better. The fact that Palace is gone and you don't have to be 80 years old and rotate at 45 seconds, 50 seconds to hold it down anymore. You can actually
Yeah,
break hills. Um,
that's true.
the Karachi, I don't mind the new Karachi. I know some people don't like P4,
I don't
like the
like
street,
P4. I was literally about to say that one. I don't like that one.
and I'm like, bro, I think a lot of people didn't play the old CODs. Like the old CODs back in the day were middle of the open hills. They weren't inside like small buildings and stuff. I don't think people remember this. Like World War II, half those hills were outside of like middle of a street. Like, dude, does anybody remember Arden's Forest P4? Middle of the map?
That's the one behind the truck, right? Or, like
Yeah,
behind the
I'm like,
truck. Yeah, I
we didn't
remember.
have trophies. You can get
Yeah,
shot
that's
under the
true.
truck. Like, I
But at
mean,
least on that one, you have somewhere to hide behind. Like you can hide behind the
oh
truck.
yeah,
You can hide behind.
that's
There's
true.
nowhere to
Yeah,
hide behind on that hill at all.
yeah, that's very true. It's I don't know. I don't mind the new Karachi. I
I
just
like the
didn't
junk
like
kill. Junk kill's cool.
the junk hills. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that one's a good one.
And the way these hills are formed outside the buildings now, in my opinion, are just better placements. Like the P4, P5 on the last patch, I just didn't like how it was like so enclosed inside of a building, and there was only one way to break it. You had to pinch top, like
Yeah.
P4. You had to
Yeah.
pinch top, and like you're just banking on your teammate like winning a gunfight on an off angle. And if you
Yeah.
kill him, that's great. If you don't, then like try to break it again. And it's just like I don't know. And now at least these hills now you can at least break them. They're actually breakable. It's not just like sitting there and get a full 60 and trade off 60s.
Yeah.
I hate when hardpoints played like that.
I agree.
I agree too. I agree. And kind of reeling it back real quick to kind of end this chapter of today's show. But something else that I want to talk about, LA Thieves. Goodness gracious. I mean, we got our boy Dan on there who went absolutely bananas that series, showing that hey, he wants it. He wants it bad. And that's kind of what we've associated Dan with, is that guy who, wants it. At the end of the day, he's the one that's showing up, and he definitely did. He showed up in the stack sheet, but his teammates just were not there. I felt like things kind of fell apart real fast on that one. I mean, goodness gracious, like 233 to 250, 5-6 in the S&D. Like, they were very much like battling it out, and I feel like at times it was just the little things that him and his teammates just messed up on that kind of did them dirty. And then they get that 3-0 on the control. Then LAG just come out big time on that Skid Row and kind of put the nail in on their weekend. I saw that, Josh Checks had made the meme that, it was pretty much like a Aaron Rodgers type of story where, they came out in the Major 1 ready to try to prove themselves, and then bang, injured on the first drive,
Yeah.
Yeah, that roster is gonna be weird. I've heard, from the grapevine that they're making a roster change.
I've heard too.
And I don't know who. I'm assuming. I guess I'm allowed to talk about it. Is they're probably gonna pick up one of the Phase Black, challenger players. They have to. Like that's at least got one or two got to be in consideration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm assuming Dan would stay. Dan
Oh,
would
yeah.
definitely stay. And I don't know who else that would drop. I'm assuming Cammy will probably get dropped. And I don't know, would they drop Joe or Afro? I don't know.
I think they would drop Afro and Joe. I think they would drop
Really?
Afro and Joe, and then bring in Kremp and Asim.
I think Asim would be a good pickup for.
Yeah, that'd be a good trade-off. Yeah, my thing is how I haven't really watched Cammy play this year, but I know in the last couple years Cammy hasn't been like his Cold War self.
Yeah.
I mean I remember him in Cold War. He was probably the best flex player in that game, like without
So
a
good.
doubt.
So good.
Um, outside of I guess Celium was probably a flex player in that game, but Cammy was like in the conversation with him and Cell. So I don't know that I would assume they would drop Cam, but I don't know how he's been playing this game. I haven't really watched him, so that's just my
Yeah.
perspective coming from it. I know Dan's for sure staying unless he wants to leave and just not want to be on the LA Thieves roster anymore, which I doubt it.
Yeah, I
So
don't know where you would put Dan in this current meta. Like there's no really like top team per se that would probably treat him as well as LAT probably treat him. So I would just stay there if I'm Dan and kind of work with J Cap and Shane and try to see if you can keep maybe Cammy. I would want to keep Cammy just because the experience that he brings and he knows what it's like to win. You know, it was Doug who said it best. God bless Doug on his retirement now, but you said it best. You got to surround yourself with players who know how to win because if they know how to win, then that already sets your team at a bigger level. And that was kind of a crazy one, but we'll see where they go. We'll see where they go, but definitely there needs to be some changes there. Miami, I mean, like we talked about, I expected the Spanish boys to pull up, and they just got absolutely banana slammed. I mean, you get Optic in the first round. That's already rough. But then again, Miami, as an organization, back when they were just Florida, were known to be that antithesis to Optic. And so for them to like come out and Optic just absolutely change the pace, break the curse, change the narrative, and 3-0 them and send them to the losers bracket. Then you got Vegas, who are struggling within themselves, that 3-0 you. So you can't let that happen. You really can't.
What I would say, at least in this game, and this is from a challenger's perspective, Lanta Online in this game is a completely different game. I mean, I don't know what it is, because on challengers, right, we're not really on LAN, we're on
Yeah, we're
low
not
ping,
even.
and when I host scrims or tournaments, I usually don't anymore, but when I do, I'm on like a 3 or 4 ping. But when I
Like, but you love it.
see, I know I love it, right? But when I'm in a gunfight with someone that's like in a 45 ping, like they get lag comp. I
Yeah.
don't know what it is. Like they get like my bullets sometimes don't register, and I know I'm not like tweaking or overthinking it because
Yeah, you're not.
I've asked people about this, and it's true. And I don't know how the pros are because the pros are on LAN with 60 FPS or 60 hertz, whatever. So I'm wondering if online to LAN for the pros too is like a big difference because I'm wondering if there's a server issue in this game because remember when they play against Miami Heretics online they probably get a couple hosts, they probably get 2 or 3, and they probably like they're pinning the Miami server or the Florida whatever Florida server is down there, right?
Yeah.
And who knows, maybe from Dallas to there the connection is just bad, and the way that Miami Heretics play they're pretty quick and they're all together like it's Black Ops 4. And if you're in a gunfight, like you might just get team shot and just get incinerated. You never know. I don't know what server it would be at.
I mean, looking at a map of the United States here.
It doesn't look bad, but you never know because I've talked to people that like ping 20 or 30 on a server and the server's just broken. It could be just a server issue, but at least from my perspective, from online to LAN in this game, there's a big difference, and that's coming from a challenger player who ping like
Yeah.
on LAN technically is a ping still. So
I
I
feel like it
noticed
must
it.
be even crazier for the pros actually, since they're
Oh
actually
yeah.
playing on LAN.
Oh yeah. Like imagine playing on real LAN with 60 FPS because from my understanding in private match we're on 12 hertz. We're not
Yeah.
on 30 hertz. We're on 12
Yeah.
hertz. So that you could just tell like that's a big difference. So
It
maybe,
is.
maybe I'm overthinking it, but that's what it looks like. And when Optic played him, like on LAN, Optic's teamwork looked pretty decent from years past. People are shitting on him, and I'm like, I don't know why. They looked pretty good. They looked good. I think they're gonna get better in this update too. Like the top teams, in my opinion, like I still think New York is still a top team. I think they had a bad weekend. That's just from
Yeah.
what I'm gonna go by. So I think like New York, Atlanta, Toronto, and Optic, those four, in my opinion, are gonna get really good. Like they're gonna separate themselves from the bottom 8 teams. So
And that's something I kind of wanted to harp on. I feel like with this update, just from my own experience playing ranked and stuff like that, and kind of seeing how the change of the game is kind of flowing from when I first started playing eights at the beginning of this year to now, I feel like that disparity is gonna get bigger. I feel like you
yeah,
said, Phil, I feel like you've got FaZe, Optic, Ultra, and New York that are kind of already like there's like a bit of a gap, but I feel like it's going to get a lot bigger now because teams that don't have A, coaching staff, B, adaptive teammates, and C, forward thinking teammates, I feel like they're going to be left behind because they're not able to kind of adapt right away. Now, probably by Major 3, we should hopefully, and I say this in air quotations, hopefully see everybody kind of playing on the same beat, you know, kind of playing to the same song here because this next major will definitely show us those adaptions and those forward thinking players really shine. That's why I think you definitely keep Cammy and Ghosty on Thieves because they are very much forward thinking players that would probably get ahead of the meta.
yeah, and to harp on this too, like maps like Invasion, which I think is the most played hardpoint map. Now you can't just get a full 60 now anymore. So these below, like these bottom half teams, I guess you would say Legion, LAG, Surge, or any of these other teams, they could take a map off a top team by just literally rotating at 50 seconds again at full 60. That's
Yep.
gone now. That's gone. So that's why I'm saying like a lot of these teams who have like faster subs like Atlanta, like New York, stuff like that, it's gonna be easier for them to use a sub. Still think it's gonna be 3 ARs for the most part.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
so too.
Karachi and Skid Row, they're probably gonna be 2-2. Um, but I think now after this update though, I think Invasion you could use one sub now in the Pro League because I think at the event it was 4 ARs. I think at like the next event it's gonna be three ARs, one sub. I think you have to have at least one sub.
Yeah,
Like how these hills are positioned, especially like P5, like the Blue Hill, like you're telling me you're gonna have
bro,
4 ARs
getting
right there?
blue, just smoke it. Like you could be so annoying in like blue and DVD and stuff. It's crazy.
Yeah, exactly. So imagine a BZ being in there, like he's gonna get his kills. So I'm trying to get any other map like Terminal. Terminal is probably still gonna be 4 ARs, unfortunately. And then I'm trying to think what's the last map. I play this game every day and I don't even know.
So we got Karachi Invasion, Terminal,
Subbase.
Skid Row,
Subbase.
Subbase. Yeah.
Subbase needs to kick rocks.
Subbase
Worst-
doesn't.
that map is horrible. Worst map in Call of Duty history.
Even with the new hills, Phil?
Yes, yes. Oh my god. The problem I'm having with Subbase compared to any other map, people know what I'm talking about. It plays like MW 2019. The spawns are so sticky. Like you can spawn kill them on the back of like P4 on green tarp repeatedly if you're top 3. You could stare at it and they'll still spawn back there. Like legit. You have to be all the way back there, like kill them off spawn and then they'll flip. It's weird. No other map is like that from my understanding.
I feel like that Subbase is probably gonna get the axe soon because we're still having these like spawn issues on that map. You know, where even players are spawning into hills. You know, P3, they're spawning into P3. They're spawning into P2. You know? So I feel like at this point, the dev team is probably working on another map, or I've even heard rumors that they're bringing Mercado Las Almas back to
Give me
potentially
Yo, give me Hotel.
replace that. Or
Give me
Hotel,
Hotel.
that's the other one.
Maggie was talking about this. I watched the flank, and he was saying like, why is Hotel not being mentioned? I'm like, Hotel wasn't that bad of a map. The only reason why it sucked is because people were using Sino-Q online. On lane, it played good. It played good, and this is coming from a flex AR player. Like, I feel bad for the subs. Like, the game COD is the best in my opinion when it's 2 subs every map, and then the flex player has to pull out a 3rd sub on some maps or an AR on some maps. That's when Call of Duty's play its best in a 4v4 scenario, at least in my opinion. And we haven't had that in a long time. I want to say
Yeah.
since what, Cold War? And even Cold War, like what map were you running a 3rd sub? Just Apocalypse?
Yeah, I was gonna say Apocalypse, maybe Raid, maybe sometimes.
Maybe Garrison.
Yeah, and,
Maybe.
and it's kind of like a lot of these pro teams now. They're picking up just 2 ARs now and then 2 subs. There's no like true flex player in the league anymore. I feel like
Yeah,
maybe
I
besides
miss the
Sib,
flex.
Sib is probably the last true flex player I can think of.
Maybe Dashy, but that's another thing that we're gonna talk about is like how Dashy's trying to like change his play style, and I feel like people just keep sharding on him. You know, I feel like they were coming at him in Vanguard for being too fast, and then you come over to like this game where he's now playing a lot slower, and people are like, yeah, they don't like his hill kitten era, and I'm like, dude, this is the problem that I saw, and we could probably go back to the VODs when me and Mike were talking about this in the post off season. This is the problem you have when getting rid of Ghosty on that squad. You have to have somebody like Dashy kind of revert to that role that Ghosty was doing, being that slaying OBJ player. Now, Dashy, he's just doing his OBJ right now. There's a little bit of slaying, but it's not enough that it's to where like Brucey, Dashy, Batman level plays, you know? And so I feel like people are kind of going a little bit hard on him, but at the end of the day, that's what happens when you get rid of Ghosty and you add in Pred. Like, I feel like this is Optic's problem every year is where they kind of have these big personalities that want to make big plays, and then you end up falling flat when it matters. You know, last year was probably their best year in terms of roster wise, just because of the fact that you had Ghosty who was doing the glue on the team. That was kind of being that mesh and bringing them all together and allowing Dashy to go off and slay, allowing, you know, Shotzi to go off and slay, allowing Scump to do what he needed to do, you know, and now you're just stuck in this scenario.
Yeah, I think the problem is that in some games, like I feel like Dashy would have to do that, be the OBJ player in a sense of like slowing the game down. In other games, he has to play fast. Um, in this game, it's weird with an AR, especially Kenny on the roster. I feel like Kenny can play that slow role for Dashy, and Dashy can go rogue. Um, in a sense of like he can just go to cuts. He can just get, like I want to say kill whore, but legit put the hammer down. Like
Yeah.
and I feel like Kenny on the roster lets him do that. And I think they got to find that good medium ground, and they haven't found that yet. And it's the way this game plays. It's weird. This game is really weird how it plays out. Um, with this new update, though, like I said, I think Dashy is gonna be let loose a little bit. We're gonna see it. He's gonna be like in that, I guess, that Vanguard mode where like he just like drops like 35 kills, and you're just like, what? Like you can't stop him.
I mean, look, the MCW, and look, I'm saying this as a former second AR back when I played in Cold War in Challengers. Look, this gun is your do it all. It is very much. It reminds me of like the
Yeah.
bow. It feels like the bow at times where I can chow close, I can chow far, and I'm still doing damage at very good intervals. You know.
For me, I think it's the maps. The maps are the problem.
Uh huh.
Because the sub is good. I mean, the sub is not bad.
Yeah, the sub is good, especially on land. The sub is really good.
The problem is these maps are very old school maps, and people didn't play these maps when they were like, hell, I was about 11 years old when these maps were out,
I was like, dude, we were in like
and
grade school.
and nobody was using the sub back then. What were you using? The UMP 45 suppressor, like that was it. It was all ACR or the intervention, you know, and like we're going for nukes.
Yeah.
Like that's what it was. That's what these maps are built around. They're built around ARs. They're not like like you know what I mean?
Hardpoint didn't exist back in the day, bro.
Yeah, it didn't. Yeah, like you know what I mean? Like go watch old clips of NW2 where like Aches was like destroying kids. He was using an ACR. Like everybody was using ACR. So I think you could probably buff the sub, but like would it do anything? No. And
Yeah.
at one point, it's gonna. What if you buff this up too much, and it's almost like an S&D? It's gonna be trash because a sub's gonna beam an AR across the map, and it's just like, bro.
It's gonna be
Um,
Vanguard all over again.
yeah. So I think at this point, they just the map pool needs to get better. We need better maps. The sub to me is fine. I don't think the sub needs to be touched. I think it's
Yeah.
to me the way that how fast it shoots makes it good. I mean, it basically has rapid fire built in.
Yeah.
Basically.
So
I think the only thing you would tweak on the sub is maybe movement speed, because the
I can see. Yeah.
outclasses everything. Even as an AR, I'm using the Renetti and I'm getting to my spots faster because of that differential in movement speed. I'm getting there faster than the sub players, and I think that's kind of a problem. I feel like nobody's really talked about that yet in terms of pacing, because like you said, it is very much AR heavy. The maps are like we said before, it's like the classic 3-lane COD. And what were we using back then? Like you gracefully said, the ACR. So you kind of have to like probably up the speed on the rival, just so that you can kind of cut corners, maybe cut areas faster. And you can also make the argument that the TTK might help out. But think about it. If I'm running, say, high rise, if I'm running out main windows there towards bottom blue, and I'm running from the attacking side on control, and an AR sees me in mid, even though the AR is tagging me up, and say he just doesn't hit any of his headshots, I'm still at like 25 HP. And if I get into a gunfight, I'm dead right away. And that kind of gives a bit of a stop in the subs' potential to kind of make those plays that are needed in like early rounds of control, early rounds of S&D,
Yeah. I can figure out what COD was in when they stopped doing that. Like the movement speed was the same as AR, because it's always been subs were faster, but ARs had more strafe. That it was like that for COD for a while, and I don't know if it was MW 2019, maybe Cold War, maybe Vanguard. I can't remember.
I want to say Vanguard, just because that was like really where subs felt bloom. But even then, MP40 was still beaming kids like at range.
Dude, bro, MP40 on land was disgusting. I mean, the MP40 on land, it felt like hit scan. I'm not gonna lie,
Nice.
it was nice.
I miss hit scan. I miss hit scan so much, man.
Yo, off topic. Call of Duty Intel, CDL Intel just put out a thing for the Boston Breach. You guys want to talk about it real quick?
Oh my goodness, what happened?
Breaking news 3 minutes ago.
CDL Intel, my boy
Yep.
Crone. Oh shoot!
Yep.
Wait a second.
So-
That probably happened.
So they drop. Okay, let's say they drop Snoopy over
What?
Cap.
You dropped Snoopy? Huh?
Listen, I think Cap's good, but like, if you're gonna drop someone, it's got to be Cap.
It's definitely
agreed.
Cap. Huh?
It's definitely Cap.
What?
You know what's crazy too? I hope this is off topic again, but with
No, go for
Slasher,
it.
Slasher and Clay, this whole age thing in Call of Duty, I think it needs to kick rocks. I think them two are a proven example that age does not matter in COD. They both. I mean, Slash had a 1.3 this weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, he is running an AR, but like he brings other intangibles too, like leadership and all that stuff, and
agree with you.
play calling and stuff.
yeah.
But he's also doing his job too in kills. Like he's not dropping like a 0.9.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Like he has a 1.3. Like that just tells you like, hey, this guy is older than me and I'm 25. So he's dropping a 1.3 still. Like he's doing his job still. Like he looks like Prime Slasher from Jetpack CODs.
Yeah,
So-
and something to kind of note off of that, because I agree with you. I feel like age shouldn't really be a factor when competing, but you kind of, I think of like what Shaq said, I think it was last year, when he was talking to some Call of Duty pros. I can't remember who it was. Somebody can probably find that, but where he was talking to, I can't remember which pro it was, where he was telling them, your job is hard because your job requires a lot more mental strength. He's like, a lot of people retire early on in esports because their mental just kind of fades away, and it's not saying that like you don't have love for the game. Everybody's got love for the game. I got love for the game, and I don't even compete, and just as a caster, I got love for the game. I love watching the game. I love telling you guys' stories and curating great moments that have epic energy that'll be remembered for generations to come. But the thing is like, you guys are literally here with your controllers behind a setup. And this is to say, let's say you're a contracted member, you're part of FaZe Black, let's say. You're like scrimming for a good 8 to 10 hours. And that's just like scrimming normally. That's not even like VOD review. That's not, playing on your own, searching up nerd spots, like trying to get ahead of the meta. That's just like you're clocking in time,
Yeah.
And that can do a lot to your mental. That'll just deteriorate you so much at the end of the day. I mean, you guys can kind of harp in on this a little bit better than me, but like, aren't there days where you like kind of like look at the sky, look at the ceiling, and you're like, damn, I am fried like mentally right now.
Yeah. Basically, like at least for me, what I've noticed is that this generation is a lot different from the generation I grew up on when I was 18. Because I want to say they're softer, but they are. When I was coming up when I was 18, 19, and I made a bad play, I got yelled at, and I didn't care. Like, cause I was my brain was like a sponge. I didn't care about getting yelled at because at the end of the day, it's for winning, unless it's like something coming personal. I guess it's the way you criticize too. At least for me too, since I've been competing for so long. If I just see a bad play and I see repeatedly over and over and over again, after a while, I'm just like, dude, like I'm mentally checked. Like, and I think a lot of older players could see that, like, because I don't know, maybe it's just the games too. The games are a lot of mental strain on the brain too, because they haven't been the greatest since I think the last good COD we probably had was probably Cold War. And it just
Black Ops 4, to be honest with you.
yeah, I guess so. You would say I would agree with you. But to me, the last like playable COD was Cold War.
Easy. Yeah.
And the problem with Cold War, we just didn't have LAN really. So that's
Yeah.
that's what if we had LAN that game, that would have been a good year.
Probably.
So it just sucks that these games are just. I don't want to say they're not fun, but they're like it's almost getting to that point where just playing the game is almost not fun. It just we
And the
just
fact that we keep getting less support, bro. Like,
Yeah.
see. I never really harped about that. I've always said if the game's good, if you're gonna give me 2 LAN events, at least I'm gonna have fun playing it, because these games, if they're not fun and then you get that, like, why am I playing?
Yeah.
So would you rather have a lot of support in a terrible game, or would you have a great game and less support? That's what I always go by. I'd rather have the game good. The game's fun to play. It's gonna make me want to play, and I'm not gonna bitch and complain.
That's true.
That's just from my perspective. Because if the game's not good and you're getting on playing for 12 hours a day, it's got to be fun. If it's not, you're not gonna want to play, and it's gonna be like a hassle, and you don't want that.
I mean, how you think Scum felt during MW2, man? Like, gosh dang.
He swam one time. He's like, "I'm out. Peace, guys. I'm going to Florida. Like, I'm out. Peace." Like he said,
Yeah.
"Screw that."
Got engaged and everything, and he was out. He was out skis, and I don't blame him. I
Oh
don't
my
blame him. A
gosh.
decorated player like him, I don't blame him. But
I tell you
Well,
what, if we had Dead Silence last year, it wouldn't be that bad in my opinion. We had like a perk, like Dead Silence is a perk. I would not mind it. But without Dead Silence, ruined it. Absolutely ruined it.
I feel like it just kind of exposed a lot of EQ merchants when it came to LAN. You saw some people that are like, "You think you're so aware? What's going on?"
No kill cams, no red dots in the minimap. Oh my gosh, just thinking about that again. Oh,
Yeah, that's wild. That's so wild.
That's a tough one. But let's move on. I know we were kind of harping on this a lot, but it was good. It's a good conversation. It's a great conversation. Great conversation. But you kind of just to kind of put an ending on this one, to kind of look at the standings real quick before we move on. Toronto Ultra, 160 in their points. Atlanta FaZe 145, and this is where it's kind of crazy. It jumps 45 points to 100 from Optic Texas, 75 for Rocker. Then you have the Subliners at 60. You have a tie for 5th with Seattle Surge as well at 60. Then you have a tie for 6th with Miami and Los Angeles. Look, here's the thing. It's going to be like last year, I feel, where it's going to be a grinder to get into that top 8 to make it for champs. But we'll see. We'll see as time goes on. This is kind of standings from now. Let's keep moving forward. Kind of want to talk to you guys a little more about, your time there in Boston. Mike, sound off for me real quick. How How was it for you, man? I know you kind of went sightseeing. You said you went out a
Yeah.
bit. You got to experience the great land of Boston. And what was it like?
Yeah. Honestly, first I would just like to thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for
God
giving me
bless.
that opportunity. Um,
God bless.
but I had one of my homies from Ottawa who's a Boston native, lived in Boston his whole life, and he didn't come to Ottawa again for this last semester because he wants to graduate from a school in Boston. So whenever I went to Boston, like I hit him up, and he's a really really good friend of mine. So he came on Saturday, and basically it was me and Prod, and we just like my boy just took us out. Like we I brought him in. I snuck him in to the challengers venue, and I snuck him into the pro venue. His first ever major. He loved it. It was during the optic and phase match.
Keep it on the
It
low,
was
bro. Keep it on the low.
it
The
was
feds are
crazy.
watching. The feds are watching. Continue.
It was the optic and phase match. He watched it and he loved it. Obviously the crowd was going crazy and stuff. And then after that we went to like the subways and we took some shuttles too. And we're like taking the actual way to like get around in Boston, which I thought was really cool. And we even got lost for a second, so that was cool. And then we went to Fenway Hall, which is literally just a hall of like 100 restaurants. Like anything you could imagine to eat, like would have been there. Like pizza was
Damn.
there, oyster bar, boba, bakery, halal, like literally anything you would have wanted was that place at that hall. It was great. And so whatever, I got some food, and also in Boston, it's legal. Hit up the dispensary a little bit.
Smoking
But
that
yeah, bro.
legal, huh?
Yeah, bro, it was a great time. Honestly, I had a good time. And then went to Cheeky Monkey, and that's where I think I got the flu from, because a lot of people that went there got the flu. So I
It's
think
because everybody was sharing those goddamn chug jugs, man.
Wait, hold on. Was that the bar that was right across the street from the pro
Yep.
venue?
Yep.
I went there with Silly, and I got a drink Saturday night, and I
I
was
went there
around you
Saturday night too.
and Michael. I was around you. We
Uh-huh.
talked. I was around people who got sick, and I didn't get sick.
I don't know, bro.
I think it's
Must be
just because
tough.
everybody was sharing those goddamn half pots from Fortnite,
No,
man.
no, no, bro. I'm telling you, the government's gonna want my blood now because I'm immune to the flu now. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I mean, did you see how many goddamn half pots were being posted on the timeline? I mean, like, I was seeing people sipping that brewski out of the half pot, and I was like, damn. But, I mean, at the end of the day, it's the gamer sickness, It's the land sickness, So
Yeah.
hopefully you
To be fair,
get better.
I did do a
Hopefully you
lot
get
of
better.
things. Like I did a lot of things. So I figured I'd probably get sick, and I just thank God it was not COVID, because I took a COVID test actually before this podcast and I got negative. But I'm gonna take a second one just in case.
That's
I
good.
heard. I heard it was the flu. People were saying it was the flu. It wasn't COVID. So
That's good.
That Beasley guy, I saw him tweet out. Beasley said that he got COVID and the flu, influenza B and COVID.
Holy crap. Double
Yeah.
whammy.
So yeah, I don't know.
Double homicide.
dude,
That's crazy.
his immune system is a handicap match. My God.
Yeah, he's fighting at a disadvantage right now. It's crazy.
Shout out Armand, man. If you're watching Armand, God bless you, man. Phil, how was it for you, Phil? I feel like a lot went down for you.
So the event itself was ran. People were getting mad how it was ran. I thought the venue was good for the challengers.
Venue was great for challengers.
I placed T32, and for the circumstances, it could have been worse. I know like 32 is not the best, but it's also not the worst. It's kind of just like placement, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
I did make an upset. I went to last map versus Temp's team, which was Fellow's old team.
Oh, nice.
And then Saturday, I played a Europe team and losers, 3-0 of them. I got called a hillbilly for liking USA. I was like USA baby, right? Because I love my country.
God bless.
And then the next match I played Pristini's team, and we got slammed versus them. But pretty much after that, I thought my team was gonna stick. We didn't. I got a new roster now, but the event was good, and the way that it was set up, I actually watched the pro venue. It was not far away enough to like where I said screw them. And I don't know, maybe this event I just enjoyed it more than the last year or two. Usually I don't watch the pros at all. I just don't. I don't know why. I think it's because the pros and challengers are so separate now. It's so
Yeah.
separate. Like just from the game perspective, like they're on 60 FPS or 60 hertz.
Also
We're
playing on a different patch too. Like,
different patch. They're on real land. Um, trying to get a seat without like you just seeing all the optic fans. Not saying that's a bad thing, but like trying to get a seat, it just seems hard. Like I thought Rally was pretty good.
Raleigh was. I was literally thinking of Raleigh, how good it was. I was literally thinking
Like I understand the league. They're trying to make it more professional. I get it, but dude, just having a convention center, even
yeah.
for like even like let's say you're just an optic fan and you want to watch the next up and comers coming up to maybe they might join Optic, like how Dashy did it back in IW, and how Ghosty did it, like and through challengers, like they would want to see that, and now they have to walk across the damn street just to see what's going on, and
Yeah.
they don't even know. But if it's in the same venue in the same building and it's in the like a convention center, they could just walk 10 steps possibly and see them like challengers play. So, but this event, I liked it. It wasn't too cold. It was nice.
Thank
Like,
God. Hey, no negative temperatures.
well,
Yeah, it was good.
Friday night was really cold. Like Friday was really cold when it rained. I don't know if you guys remember that. On Friday it was really cold, but Saturday
When we
was good.
got to the venue, we're literally standing in line in the rain for the first day.
Yeah, and the reason why it sucked because the wind wasn't the problem, but the freeze rain, like it was hitting my head, and I'm like, dude, this like it was freezing cold. Like it felt like needles on my head, straight up.
Yeah.
Sunday I wasn't there. I left. I was already back home by Sunday afternoon. Saturday was not that cold. It was nice. Um, the only problem I had with the whole place is that there was not a lot of places to eat, besides like bars.
Mhm.
Maybe that like I went to like this Mexican restaurant down the street. It was good,
Yeah.
but there was no like Chipotle. There was no like quick food to grab like between matches and and eat real quick and get back to the venue. It was always just like you have to sit down, pay $45-$50 for lunch or dinner, and then you know what I mean. There was nothing quick to eat. And I think that's a problem too. Venues have not done good. I don't know. Maybe I remember back in the day, you just go walk down, get McDonald's real quick, or go down, get Chipotle real quick, and then get back to the venue. There's nothing like that anymore. So
I was gonna say I hit up McDonald's while I was in Boston, but it was like a 10 or 11 minute walk. Like you had to walk across the bridge
yeah,
to go get it.
like nobody's gonna do that, bro. like we're gamers, bro. Nobody's gonna walk 10 to 11 minutes to go get food. 5 minutes tops.
That's true. Because you also got to be back. You got to be back
You also gotta be back.
in
Yeah.
case
Dude,
a match starts up.
Dude, bro, challengers. Oh my god. The only thing I hated is that I didn't eat for like 5 hours because they're sitting there. Oh, you're gonna play here at this time. Oh, you're gonna play at this time. Oh, you're gonna play at this time, and they kept pushing it back. I'm like, can I just get some damn food? I finally did. I said, screw this. If I get forfeit, I get forfeit. I had to go get food. I didn't eat all day, so I had to. But that was that was the big problem of the whole tournament. It was that. That's it.
Yeah.
Understandable. I gotta say something real quick. All right, I'm looking at you, Twitter, and all you slimy people. Look. At the end of the day, me personally, I work with Esports Engine. I'm one of the tech admins. So like those guys who are setting up challengers, that are setting up your PCs, that are trying your best. Look, at the end of the day, this is the problem that we're in, and that I'm currently facing within my own business sphere, is that the CDL, because and this is like kind of alluding to like the layoffs, but like because they have kind of backloaded and have put the managerial stress load on the orgs like Boston, Miami, Toronto, they are unfortunately unable to reach out to us admins at Esports Engine that know what we're doing. A lot of the admins there, the like coworkers, they know how to overclock your controllers. They know how to set up the PCs. They know what to do with scheduling and managerial work. They are very much esports enthusiasts and also esports advocates in the work. So good on Boston for outsourcing to like the local colleges and trying to get those guys some more experience, but people were like coming at the admins, and I wanted to say something, but I didn't want to go step out of my reach. I wanted to say something because look, at the end of the day, the admins are doing their best. They're just following orders from the big honchos above, and just give them a little bit of respect, because you never know when I'm gonna be there, and people are yelling at me, and I'm like, look, motherfucker, you know who I am. You know what I'm about. You know, I got Phil here. I'll freaking go 619 on the rope, and I will choke slam you through the table. No, I'm just kidding. That's too much of a threat, you know. But
Well, see with that though. See, I think this is the problem that everyone keeps talking about. It's PC.
it is.
It's PC,
It
and
is.
I've talked about this even for Valorant and CS. I understand that I'm mouse and keyboard, but I think with all the cheating that's going on, how events can't be run correctly, I think people are realizing that PC gaming is not the future for esports, for competing in video games. I hope this is realizing it, because there's just so many like X factors that you have to go on. Like, it takes me about 5 minutes just to set up my game, and that's just settings. Then
Yeah.
I have to, and then I gotta warm up and feel like, okay, is my game fine? Is there a delay? Is something like, am I getting frame rate? Like all this BS, and I'm just like, this all stems down to PC gaming, and I understand PC gaming. People think it's the future because the hardware they can do, but for competing, from playing against someone else for money in competitive esport, I would rather play on console where
Agreed.
when I plug my controller in and I'm ready to like shoot my gun. Like it's getting to that point now, and what the rumors I've been hearing, we're gonna go back to console soon.
I heard we're gonna
Um,
go back to Xbox though, which kind of sucks.
See,
Wait,
that's one thing-
whoa. What's up with the Xbox slander here? Come on.
No, here's my thing.
All right, tell me.
What I don't
Beam me.
understand, right? So Microsoft owns Activision now, right? But here's the thing. Sony has the rights to Call of Duty still, if I'm not mistaken. They signed the contract. They re-signed it when Activision got bought out. Microsoft said we'll keep the contract. So Sony gets the deals first, like DLC first. But how would that work on LAN? Who would give the consoles? You can't do both, right? On LAN you can't, unless there's some way to cross-play on LAN.
Yeah.
So what console would we play on? Even though Sony has the rights to Call of Duty, technically, like they own the rights in the sense of like publishing it.
Honestly,
I would say
That's why I don't get it.
Xbox just to play on, but the exclusivity and all that would probably still stay with Sony until the contract runs out.
Well, the contract did run out, and Microsoft renewed it when they bought it out
Shoot.
a year and a half ago. They said, because like you gotta think about it, why keep it all to yourself when you could sell it like a little bit, like the DLCs and stuff, to Sony? What Sony probably gives about a couple $1 billion. That's free cash. That's legit free cash.
as
So
long as I get to use a PlayStation controller, I don't care.
see, I'm with Michael on this. It's the only reason why I like Sony controllers more now is because I've been on the Sony controllers for 6-7 years now.
Yeah.
It's that good stuff right here, y'all. I don't know about
Xbox, they
y'all.
just feel so fat in my hands, bro. They're so large.
I just have
They're-
a big hand, man. You know,
They're
The-
not
Even when I was
terrible.
younger, though.
the PS4 controller just feels so tiny to me.
Bro, it's
I
a
mean,
perfect size controller.
I mean, the problem I have with Xbox,
It's about average.
the problem I had at Xbox, right, is my first LAN event. It was in AW on Xbox One,
Uh-huh.
and the problem I had with that console specifically, I don't know how the Series X is when you're playing, sometimes you get fat finger and hit the home screen while you're playing. And
yeah.
I've done that before by accident. And imagine you're in a 1v1 scenario, you defuse the bomb and you fat fingered it and you hit the home screen.
That is
Like-
true. That is true. But I will say, if you look at my controller right now, it has gotten a
That's a
lot
nice
smaller.
controller.
It has gotten a lot smaller. The X button.
Yeah.
But I will say that this is probably my main concern is the what is it called? The like start and select button. 'Cause
Okay.
this one you could definitely fat finger. Like if I'm holding down X and then my like finger slips a little bit over, damn, I just opened up the menu.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, we lost to the bomb defusal. But at the end of the day, that's we'll see where we go. I'm hopeful that we do go back to console, even though that it'll look at the end of the day. This is the problem at the end of the day. Just one word. One word. Are y'all ready? Money. It's money. It's always gonna be money. And look, I didn't really get it back then until now, being a business major and seeing a lot of business intricacies that we see within the league right now, look at the rough fact that we have to understand is that because of the money flow and how things are going and the lack of resources, these people in suits are not going to care. They are not going to care about what we want. They will care what lines their pockets up. Now, if Sony's throwing $3 billion, let's say, I know it's an erroneous number, but let's just say Sony's throwing $3 billion, then yeah, if that outsources PC, but the thing is that there's no middleman, you know? They would much rather focus on sales of the duck skin on MW3 that no dollar goes to Sony or no dollar goes to Xbox and goes straight to Activision. You know? They would much rather have that than focus on what's best for the players like that at the end of the day. You know?
Well, what I always say, if they switch challengers to console, they would save a lot of money.
They would.
I mean, I did the math with it. I think Michael did I do the math with you?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. So they had 22 stations, right? And there's 8 PCs. So how much do you think an average PC probably costs?
Those ones are probably like
2,000.
1,500.
Do you think 2,000?
No, because
You think-
they had like 20. What did they have in there? What graphics card or whatever?
I
they
believe
have?
it's 2080 Supers.
Yeah, that's nothing crazy.
Look,
That's
Okay.
those PCs have been around for a long time.
Yeah,
Those-
my PC,
those
I just got
PC
it. It's $2,000, and there's a
Oh,
40 something in there.
Okay.
So that
So I'm gonna do the math. Okay.
Okay.
So there's 22 stations. Okay.
Okay.
8 PCs per station. So 22 times 8. Right? My math's right.
yeah,
That's 176 PCs. Times that by 1,500.
And this is like lowballing. Like lowballing a number.
1,000
That's how much money they're costing just to run that challengers event minimum.
minimum.
That's not-
easy.
That's not even renting at the venue. Getting bar license,
Chairs,
bar
freaking
license, chairs,
master mix
lights,
amps, yeah,
mix amps, all.
paying the employees.
Yes, exactly. So think
I do
about
like
that.
my salary.
So how much how much does an Xbox cost?
Isn't it like 600, 700?
It's like
Blasted.
$450 right now.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, the price has dropped. Yeah, 450.
Okay, so let's do 450 times what? 176, right? Was the number?
Yeah. Holy crap! Somebody get this man into the position.
You're saving 200 grand minimum at least.
Yeah.
You're saving $250,000. And the thing is too, it would run better. You don't have to get a server. And from my understanding, they wouldn't need internet because it's LAN, real
Yeah, it'd be
LAN.
Oh, it is
So
real
you-
land. Yeah.
Yeah, so you just plug it right in. Boom. That's it. You just need the modem and that's it. Boom. Just plug it right in. So, I mean, I think that the league would have to like that's saving their money. That's 200 grand. Like that's a lot of money, and you have that 3 times a year. Like think about that. Like that's a lot of money. So I would I would think they're at least considering it right now. There's no way.
To be. They have to be.
I mean, with only 12 employees left, I mean, you gotta anything. But trying to move on real quick. Congrats to FaZe Black. We kind of expected it. Those guys were nasty. Brack,
Yeah, these guys are insane.
Asim, those guys in and of themselves are friggin' disgusting. And Kremp's gonna make some moves, man. I don't know why they dropped him, but we'll see what happens. I heard that it may have been a personal issue. We'll see. I don't know. But kind of moving on. Let's go to the tier list now. Gents, I need all attention here.
Ultra elite.
I was gonna say ultra elite, 100%.
I think FaZe is also elite too.
I think so as well. I think you definitely keep FaZe there. Minor improvements needed.
Optic.
Optic.
Miami Heretics.
I think what's the on the come up? I don't know. I think they're good, bro. Like honestly, I think they're good. I don't know. They just got slammed. Like, don't know.
I think Miami has better days ahead.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think subliners then also got to be in there because I think they're disgusting too.
I think they had a bad weekend.
That's what I'm saying. The reason why I wrote it out like that was because it's B, but it's also for better days ahead. Like they're a decent team, but they just didn't hit stride this weekend.
I have a question. Is this post Boston or at Boston?
Post Boston.
Okay, so this is gonna be the update. Minnesota's weird, man.
I would say on the come up.
I
'cause
would
they actually
say
did
on the
really
come up
good.
too, because you
Yeah,
look
I
at
guess
who
you
they
said.
faced,
Flied.
You know, when it came time to put some steel to the mill and go up against Optic, they kind of fell flat. So I feel like they are on the come up. You know, even though they did place
I
top
think,
4.
honestly, also Boston. I think
Boston.
Thieves will probably be in the need a roster swap since Boston literally just got a roster swap, and I'm pretty sure Thieves is about to have one soon.
I think so too. I think Vegas is there too.
Vegas is probably there too.
Like not to be rude to Purge because he is the former Challengers champ, but like he's just a square peg in a round hole for that squad.
I think London and LAG are on the come up, in my opinion. I think both of them are.
I'm hearing you.
I agree. I feel like LAG are finally starting to hit stride.
Surge is weird. Is there? Can we put a spot like? I don't know yet. Need more time. Like, I feel like that's the Surge spot right now. Like, I don't know what they even think about him.
I heard they also got banned from, not banned, but blacklisted for this event. So nobody was scrimming them.
The hell? What did they place? Top 6?
I
Top 8,
believe.
I think.
I believe. Let me see. Hold on. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have gotten rid
They
of
lost
that.
to Optic, right? Right before Optic beat Minnesota, so they got top 6.
Hold on. Let me see. Hold on. Let me get you the accurate ones before I say something that I don't mean. Just looking at it right now. Completed. There we are. Surge went out to Ultra on Thursday 3-0. Like that was bad. I remember that was bad. Like watching that, I was like, this is bad. And then Surge went and beat Boston, which was great. Some good signs of life there. And then they even beat Carolina. But then, of course, you know, I just feel like same thing with like Seattle, with Ravens. You know, Ravens beat NYSL, but NYSL just weren't themselves this weekend. I just feel like they're really good. It's like the Dallas Cowboys. They beat the middle teams, the mid teams, you know. Then when it comes time to put up or shut up, they just unfortunately don't put up. You know? Seattle Surge, quote that, are the Dallas Cowboys.
Cowboys in the playoffs, man. It's a terrible sight to see.
It's a rough one. It's okay. I don't think any of us are Cowboys fans here. Mike's a Chicago Bears fan.
I am a Bears fan.
And I'm a Chiefs fan, so I'm feeling good.
My second favorite team is the Chiefs, just because I live in Kansas now, and I could say that.
Yes, sir. Wait.
Yo, so far, the 3 years I've been here in Kansas, the Chiefs have made the playoffs or made the Super Bowl 3 times and won once.
You got to stay there, man. You got to stay there in Kansas now.
Yeah, I mean, and now it could be twice. They could win twice. I don't know. We'll see.
That'll be fun. I'll need to come up there, come visit you if they do win. Maybe we'll go to the Super Bowl parade. But looking at it, I mean, Seattle, I feel like they're on the come up too, but you just put them right under Rocker. I feel like you put them right under Rocker, like they're on the come up. They're beating these mid teams, but when it comes down to it, they just couldn't square up against Optic. You know, 3-1.
Did Seattle didn't play Minnesota, right?
Yeah, like look at it real quick. Like look how bad of a disparity it was. 250 to 165. That's literally a 90-point differential. 6-4. They beat them in the S&D, but I would expect that with the likes of Illy on that squad.
Illy?
Then you get 3-0 in the invasion, and then you get 250 to 137 in the terminal. Like they just can't compete. You know, they're great in the S&D because they have the likes of Ilya, Booza, you know, Hook on that squad, Arcides as well. But I just feel like everywhere else they're just kind of lacking. You know, so I feel like this is a good accurate representation right here.
I tell you what, if Boston makes that roster swap, I think Boston's gonna be a team to watch. I think that's the next. Like people think LA Thieves, but you got Slasher playing really good. Priesta, he just won. He literally just won champs. And did he win MVP or was that Kismet? No, it was
That's Kiz.
Hydra. You know, it was Hydra. I think Hydra won MVP. My bad. But Priesta was like the glue for that roster. Like everyone talks about it. And I'm telling you, if they get a roster swap, I'm telling you, to me, Boston is going to be, mark my words, I think they're going to be the fifth best team, maybe fourth best team. Like they're going to be under the Optic and FaZe in Toronto. Like I think they're going to be there, at least in my opinion.
I agree. I agree. I feel like the only other team that could potentially upheave that is maybe Rocker, but I just feel like they're too hot and cold at times. Rocker.
I think Rocker is a team where they had a good event, and I don't think it's going to happen again. I could be wrong.
I'm always down to put my money where my mouth is on that one.
Yeah, I think the teams that we're going to watch out for, like they didn't place well this event. Like I said, is Boston, Miami, then Seattle. I think those three are the teams. The other teams are the bottom teams of this year, in my opinion. I think is that 8 right there? No, that's 4. That's 7. There's one more.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's all 12.
No, I'm talking about like the teams I was saying. I think Toronto, FaZe, Optic, New York, Miami, Seattle, and Boston are going to be in the top 8. But I think there's one more team left, right?
I think you just said 6. You said Toronto, FaZe, Optic, Subliners, Surge,
Miami.
Miami.
Surge,
So that's
Boston.
5. 6, that's you have one more. You have one more.
So do you guys agree with that though? In those 7, do you think those 7 are going to be the teams this year?
I feel like if we don't see Miami pull up this next major, I feel like they're going to be Boston last year, where they're great online and they just suck in person.
That's fair. That's like my thing too on that. I definitely know Seattle's going to be in the top 8, 100%.
I feel like if we don't see Miami pull up at any of these majors, they might just make it alone off of their online qualifiers, but they'll be like number 8 and barely scraping by.
Yeah. I mean, dude, Clay might rally the troops on the Ravens, bro. He might rally the troops, and he might get the top 8.
I'm all for this new Clay era, man. I
Clay
want that man to
champs.
succeed because he is the pioneer for us, man. He's the
Wild.
trailblazer. What do you think, Mike?
I think if Clay comes back and wins champs, I'll start doing backflips.
Gosh dang. I will too, bro. I will too. So are we okay with this? We're good with this tier list?
Yeah, I think this is okay.
Okay.
I think this is a pretty good tier list.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go. All right, then. Well, unfortunately, to the last section of today, we got to talk about the unfortunate layoffs that went down at Activision. Look, man, it is a difficult day. What was this? Yesterday? Yeah. Yesterday was a rough day. It was a dark day in Call of Duty. Scott Parkin is a good friend of mine, a close friend of mine. He believed in me when nobody else believed in me during my year of losing my identity. I feel like he was a great guy. Scott definitely showed me the confidence and the resilience that I needed to keep on going in this scene, and I'm very thankful for him, and it sucks to see him go out like this. I saw him tweet out that they were having an emergency meeting on his day off, and after working in the corporate world myself, emergency meetings are never a good thing. I remember when I got laid off from the banking industry in the corporate world, I had an emergency meeting Friday morning at 9 a.m. By 10 a.m., I was terminated and let go because of layoffs. So I know exactly what Scott went through, and I feel so bad for him. But the rotation stated, Senior Esports Manager at Activision Blizzard, Scott Parkin, appears to confirm that he and or members of his team have been let go this morning. And Scott Parkin tweeted out, they did it. They actually did it. They let us work with that over our heads and laid us off on our first day off. The lack of common decency is a joke. That is, first off, that's horrible. That is horrible. No way can you work and put on an event like Boston, Major 1, with the idea in the back of your head, hey, I'm probably going to get let go after this. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, you guys can relate. Like, even when like playing in challenges, like knowing that you're gonna get dropped after the event, like, doesn't that kind of put a hinder on your performance value?
A little bit maybe.
Yeah. That kind of happened to me. My first champs I ever went to. Kinda. Um, not saying. At least to me, it puts a mode with like in your head, like, why am I doing? What's the point of even doing this type of attitude?
Yeah.
Um, I do feel bad for the people that like I don't know who like these people are. I never heard of them. That worked at Activision that got laid off. I don't know what they did. I'm assuming they just did like the programming and built the state the the setups and everything. But like I don't know who they are, and it does like they lost their job. It really does.
I the thing is that a lot of these people were kind of cross divisional people as well. Like Scott Parkin was head of esports competitions, and you also have like the Overwatch division, which was all let go entirely because the Overwatch League is dead. It is in the ground, gone. You know.
Yeah.
So that was like a good majority as well. So not only were we affected, but so was Overwatch. Overwatch is just gone. I feel like now you have to work at, within the deeper combines of Blizzard to really be able to work on Overwatch, which is so sad because I saw that they had let go. I can't remember her name, but she's a really great caster.
That's something like Mr. X, I
So,
think.
so wait, so on. So Overwatch is dead, as in what? There's no league.
There's no more league. And so now Overwatch themselves are putting on the Overwatch Championship Series, which is pretty much the CWL. The Overwatch, like the company of Overwatch, is putting on the Overwatch Championship Series, where it's region locked. It's everything that the CWL was, and it's looking promising. It is looking very promising, but it's kind of like the morning after the purge. It's like we have this peace and this potential future, but at what cost?
So,
Yeah.
so, but how this worked though? Because, um, would it just be like the developers hosting the league then?
Essentially, yes.
So,
Essentially, the developers are within their own esports teams running these divisions now.
yeah, I don't see anywhere doing that.
That's the hard thing is that there's only 12 staff left in the Activision Blizzard esports division.
Well, here's the thing. Why? Like maybe this goes to a political thing, which I won't go to, but why has Activision lost so much money? Why is it costing so much to do this? Is it because of COVID and inflation?
I feel like we could have like a 4-hour discussion on this, but to kind of put like a small sticky note on a thesaurus level problem, bad business decisions, COVID, inflation, bad leadership. That's the best thing that I could say is that it's just an unfortunate circumstance led by incompetence and inability and situation. That is where we're at today, and that is unfortunate because there's some good people behind the scenes, like the observers, like the whole observer team, who have been let go and now are on the job market looking for the hunt.
Well, so I know a lot of I saw Krim talked about this. Like, if the league dies, CDL, like, there's gonna be nothing for competing for. There won't be a scene. I know some people wanted to die so the CWL would come back. We just hope to God that Mr. Adam AP, the savior himself, comes back to COD and fixes everything.
One can dream, man, because they still, I believe he was talking about it the other day where was it right here? Where last week the night was just saying if Microsoft/Activision Blizzard let me run MLG from within, gave me the ability to run CWL next to Halo and their amazing esports team and other internal IP, we would build the most powerful internal marketing engine in the industry. Bring back folks like Action Pies, add Drake, and other superstars from the MLG and CWL era. It doesn't need hundreds of employees or 100 million in funding. It can literally be folded into internal marketing beats and lift all ships. It can also be done fiscally efficient with common sense and reasonable spending, which sends shockwaves throughout the industry. And he says, I have always dreamed of a room of massive open brackets similar to EVO, but for games like Halo, COD, Gears, Overwatch, and World of Warcraft, he mentioned in another tweet. 10,000 people in room landing. Talk about hitting your core demo right in there. Take my money, soul. Gosh dang.
Well, the problem is too is Call of Duty is the most popular FPS ever, and
Yep.
the fact that like the esports side, like the Hardpoint and S&D, not just the pubs or just Warzone, it's it's literally a cash money cow that they just have not understand like how to do it. I don't know why. I don't know why every year it keeps getting messed up, and it's not a money thing. Like because if you do it right, like how Adam AP is saying you can do it, you would make a lot of money.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of money. I just think they're just incompetent.
Yeah. We should have
It-
never switched to PC, bro. Like that's so much money just given away already.
Oh yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, they switched to PC because they saved money, right? Because they didn't want to Sony.
To cut out the middleman. To cut out the middleman. Remember, it's all about the money at the end of the day. Cut out the middleman. You no longer have to give a share to Xbox or Sony whenever you make market transactions.
Well, here's the thing. From my understanding, what Adam AP said, they got the PlayStations for free on LAN.
Yeah.
All of it.
Well,
That's
back
what I was
then, it was
told.
part of their marketing budget. Yeah, it was a whole other division within marketing that they were getting these PCs, console codes or game console codes like for free.
Well, here's the thing now. Since Microsoft owns Activision now, they could easily get an Xbox for free. I mean, legit, right?
You would think. You would think, but that's the difficulty at the end of the day, man. Is just like from what I've seen, at least within my personal time in this business and this like scene, like with the acquisition of Esports Engine per se, they're bought out, and immediately Adam is dethroned. He's no longer the CEO, and he's now living his life. Now there's different people in charge than before. Now it's up to them to be able to make those decisions that were either on the same level as Adam or that are lesser, and that's just kind of what we're seeing. The CWL gets upgraded, and I say upgraded with quotes in my hands in the air, to the CWL, and then or from the CWL to the CDL. We had this huge plan, these majors in every city, all that stuff. Home city support, COVID hits, throws everything off the rails. Management's not able to comply, and here we are now. So we'll see as time goes on, because if the CDL does die, which it seems like it is going to die at the end of this year, a lot of us people on the inside predicted it. We'll see what happens, because it'll definitely be like people like Adam who are going to have to revive us, give us that Battlefield 4 freaking shockwave to the chest, bring us back in,
Yeah, because like here's the thing, like, at least with Adam, he seems like a great guy. And let's say the CDL does die, someone's gonna need to like come around and make events, because at that point anybody can run events, right? Legally.
Yeah,
right.
It would be like upwards of 10K, I think. Like
Up
past
to 10K.
either up to 10K or past 10K, I think was the legal limit because of the CDL.
Okay, but the CDL does die though.
That does free up that clause.
Yes. So, all right. Like, here's the thing: are we gonna go and make a new website and like do our pro points from there again, or we're using Face It?
I believe it's gonna stay on Face It. From this is what I'm hearing, because and this is kind of like exposing a little bit of like the networks that I talk to, but there are people that are preparing and praying for the imminent destruction of the CDL that are looking for ways that they are going to facilitate this this crash collision, you know. And these people talked about Face It. They have talked about working with all the organizers and kind of acquisitioning under one umbrella. There's been a whole lot of conversation, and nothing has, from at least from what I've seen, has kind of been stuck to the wall yet. Nothing has kind of stuck yet. Everything is just prone and waiting for the destruction of the CDL. And as somebody who's trying to make it in this scene in terms of like talent and industry wise, it kind of scares me because to see so many people like just praying for the downfall of the system which we have instead of trying to improve it. I mean, we've tried to improve it, but it's kind of had its life cycle.
Yeah, and as a person who's still in challengers and stuff, I'm glad I have the CCL, the college. I'm glad I have a full-time job. I'm glad I am a content creator now on the side, and I will still give all my all in competing in Call of Duty. But after I want to say Cold War, I kind of realized like this shit is like I want to be depressing, but it's chalked. Like the way this scene is ran, it's just chalked.
Yeah.
The problem is that like now this is just going from a challenger's perspective now. People play this COD now like it's just a glorified eights. There's no actual unless you're a top AM or in the pro league, it's practically like who can drop a 40 bomb. And if you drop it, you drop it. If you don't, then like you're trash. And that's like the problem now too is how the scene is ran because at this point you just want to make the league to pretty much get that bag and then go from there.
Yo, Rotation just tweeted out that Eric Boom is replacing Journey on the Miami Heretics. And Journey will team with Cruz, Lunars, and Gunsy and Challenger.
Isn't Journey an AR?
I don't know. I think he does whatever.
Guys, remember Eric Boom was the main sub.
Really? Oh yeah. So then, wait, who's moving up then?
Eric Boom's moving up.
Okay. And
Eric Boom's moving
Journey's the
up
one
and
going
Journey-
out.
Yes.
Goodness gracious.
Yo, that is literally my face.
What happened to the game? Hello.
Well, here's the thing too. I just thought about. This might be off topic. Let's say the league dies, right? And Mr.
Yeah.
Madden MVP just runs the pro circuit, like old school MLG, where it's his own circuit, it's crowdfunding, or whatever.
Yeah.
Could we choose what game we want to play on? Like we wouldn't have to play the current COD.
I think because of how devs work and all that, I think we will still play
The current COD.
the current
yeah.
COD. I think if we want any type of support, we're gonna need to be playing the same COD. So that's just kind of what I think, and kind of wrapping the bow on that one because we'll see where this scene goes. But it seems like this is the last year. This is very much the last year.
And it sucks too, because next year is a Treyarch game, the next 2 games, and I was actually going to quit last year, and then I went to Disney World 4 times, which you guys probably saw. I legit went to Disney World 4 times in a matter of a month. I went to Epcot.
Shout
It was
out Disney
really-
World.
Bro, Disney World. Listen, everybody in here, bro, go to Disney World. If you're older than 21, of course, go to Epcot. Best shit ever. One of the best experiences ever. That's practically true. The way that Epcot is ran, they bring in people from other countries, and they have like little sections of each country, like China, Italy, Germany, and stuff. And it's like the food is pretty authentic from what I hear. And I had it, and it's fucking great. But anyways, I told myself I was gonna play this year, and then I'm probably done. But when I found out it was gonna be the next 2 years gonna be Treyarch, I was like, I gotta play the next 2 years. I have to. I don't care. I'm almost pushing 30. Like, I at least gotta play those games. Like, after that, then I'm like, I'm done.
Yeah,
Because-
I'll probably be done too.
Like, I at least gotta play this Treyarch games. Especially Mr. Madden AP is running it with open bracket on console. You think I'm gonna waste that opportunity? Like, I'm telling you, when it goes back to console, everybody's gonna come back. All the old heads, at least the first event.
Yeah,
There's
at
gonna be
least the first one. Yeah,
There's gonna be
hella
so many people coming back. The scene's gonna be thriving. There's gonna be about I guarantee the first event will probably be
200
about
plus teams. easy.
200 plus. It's gonna be like Vegas again. I guarantee you.
Yeah, we used to have like 200 plus events like every time.
Here's the thing. People think COVID killed COD. I think switching to PC killed it. I think that's what killed it.
I
Because
think
people
so
don't
too.
remember in MW, there was still a lot of people competing in MW when it was on console the first year of the CDL. It was pretty big still. I remember Minnesota had about 185 teams. Like that's still a lot of teams.
Yeah.
So I guess the end it's on like come back to console. That's the whole game plan here.
Yeah.
Hoping. That's why I put up this Sydney Sweeney meme right here. We
I
just,
need that. I need that. in my
I
life.
need that. I need a woman like that looking at me like that in the corner, man. In my corner, man. You know, but
Facts.
well, we'll see. We'll see. We're hoping for the we're
That's one of my
we're
dreams.
preparing for the worst. No, expecting the
Hoping for
worst,
the best.
preparing for the best. I think that's what the saying goes.
Isn't it preparing for the worst, hoping for the best? Isn't it?
That's what it is. Preparing for the worst, hoping for the best. There you go.
Because my expectations is that COD's gonna be dead for like at least 2 years. That's the worst I think we'll go. Where there's nothing. There's no tournaments for 2 years.
And that's why, ladies and gentlemen, go get educated. Go find a job that you like. Because passion don't pay the bills these days anymore. You know, especially with everybody being adults now, 22 years old. Phil, how old are you, Phil?
I'm 25, but to be honest with you, COVID at least killed 2 years of my life, so I feel like I'm 23,
100%.
22. I feel like I'm still an early
100%.
adult. Like I don't feel like I'm my mind is still early adult. I still feel like I'm 22, 23 because of COVID. I think a lot of people feel that way.
I think I agree with you for sure.
I
Like,
agree with you. I feel
like
like I'm
that-
still 20.
Like it's weird to me because I remember I turned 21, 22. I made champs, and then
Blink.
just snap. It just blinked at
Yeah.
25. I'm like, what the fuck? Like COVID literally ruined at least my time frame of how shit works. The days go by so much quicker now, and I'm just like, dude, like what the fuck happened? And with all the CDL shit that's happening, it goes back to how it was before. They wasted 4 years of all of our lives, legit. Besides, if you're a top pro, unless you're FaZe or Optic, and you get the bag.
It's
That's
true.
it.
It's true.
Like, I feel bad. Like it really sucks. Like this is like a weird situation with everybody playing. That's why I think age needs to get kicked out the window because legit, like we got fucked. We got fucked. We got scammed. That's all I'm gonna go by.
I agree. I 100% agree, and it's gonna be a difficult one. But as long as we just stick together, hold true. Look, like I said, go get a job, please. For the love of God, please, go get a job. Go find what you want to do in life. Keep this stuff on the back burner and get educated, man. Because if you look at the end of the day, if you at home are watching this and you're like, I want to make a difference in this scene, go get educated. Go learn the soft skills needed to run businesses. Go get that first world experience in the big time and bring it all back. Bring it back. Bring that passion. Bring that education. Bring that experience and help elevate this scene to sites where we never could have seen before. Because these bigwig suits who came in with the experience and the degrees that didn't know nothing about esports and had no love for the game, they brought us here, you know, plus COVID. So, I mean, you could kind of be a little nicer to them because of COVID, but still, they brought us here. So we're gonna try our best here. And you look at these faces from top to bottom, these are the faces that are gonna be running the scene. You know, these are the faces that are going to be your product managers, your broadcast managers, your friggin' esports managers, your directors in the future, you know. And to kind of close it off, we did already talk about the teams that are going to be making changes, you know, Vegas, Boston apparently now, LA Thieves. We'll see where they go, what happens with that. But kind of ended off, I will be in Miami. I will be there no matter what. Word to the meme. Word to the meme. I've booked it. I saw a good flight, and I'm not missing out. I've yet to hear anything in terms of challengers yet, which I'm hoping it happens.
I've heard there's gonna be an event.
Okay, because
And
I
it's gonna be an
post
hour away.
I
It's gonna be an hour away.
I posted this photo of me going to Miami in the flight, and I got multiple DMs, some from internal ops, which I won't say, and some from fans and friends that were like, how do you know that the event's there? I don't know. Okay, I'm putting it out there. I don't know. I just looked up the cheapest flight and saw where all my friends are flying to, and I was like, I want to be where my friends are, so I'm gonna fly Fort Lauderdale. Look, it's like 40 minutes away from Miami. I'll take the Uber. I don't care, but like, I do not know. OG Susano does not know where the venue is. Please stop asking me.
Wait, here's the thing. So, I remember before it was Florida Mutineers, right?
Yeah.
And now they're Miami Heretics. Is it 100% that the event is going to be Miami at least? Is that guaranteed?
From some of the people that I know that work within team operations, some of them are saying that it's most likely not going to be there. That it's probably going to be either outside of Miami or maybe inside Miami. You also got to remember, we're flying in March. Like, end of March, spring break. It's going to be hard to get some venues there. So, we'll see.
Bro. Hey, if we have to play in Orlando, I'm down with that too. I got to see. Listen. Hold on.
Ain't no
Before
way.
we go.
Ain't no
Before
way.
we go.
Ain't
Before
no
we go,
way.
bro.
Bro's about to pull a spread check on us.
Like, look,
Oh my
I have a
gosh.
Disney World season pass, bro. Give me to Orlando. I'm okay with that. All right. I can literally go to Epcot right after I'm done playing. I'm okay with that. You know.
You'll have to show me the ways, bro, because I've never been to Orlando. I've been to Disney, California.
Orlando, or listen, when I moved away from Texas, it was, or not Texas, California, it was either Texas or Florida, and my parents and I, we almost moved to Orlando. We almost did. Like, Orlando is nice. It's a nice area. Like, the last time we had an event there was Black Ops 3, and that was a great event. It was great. It was right across the street from Universal. It was nice. Florida's nice for our events. I don't know why we haven't fucking had one for the last 3 years, especially during COVID when they had less restrictions more than any other state. And it was cheaper there too, more than any other state, basically, because how the taxes work. So I'm like, why we haven't had an event here? Straight up.
I couldn't
Like,
tell
no
you.
one, besides being hot, big deal. Like, oh well, stay inside. We dealt with Boston last year when I was playing in the frozen tundra like I was Brett Favre. Like, I don't know what to say. Like,
yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, it's the same conversation with like champs in California, what was it, the past 2 years before Vegas. It's like you win champs and then bam, hit with like a 40% tax, you know?
bro, when I went to champs, I got double tax because it was in California and I lived in California. I got double tax. I got
Damn.
doubled. Yes,
Damn.
it was bad. So
Whew, that's gonna be a rough one, but we'll see where we go. Although I was told that they are very close on announcing a venue, so we will see where we're gonna go. No, I do not know where it is. Please stop asking me. Please, I'm begging you. There have been like 10 people today that have asked me. I don't know. I'm in terms of the work ladder, I'm like just above entry level. Okay, guys. I'm not Adam AP. I'm not making decisions, you know. So I do not know. But I will be there. Mike, Phil probably will be there maybe if there is challengers, which from Phil's words, it's looking like it will. So let's hope so. Let's just hope that we're just hoping for the bare minimums, you know? We're just hoping for the bare minimums these days.
Which is wild.
I tell you what, if they host a challengers event in the convention center and host like a 100+ team event, I guarantee it will sell out. Like they did Boston. Make more money. They can make more money on it too.
I can see
I guarantee. If they literally announce like, yo, it's gonna be at a convention center, 100+ teams, challengers, and it's an hour away, no one cares. Everybody will go. And no one. These challenger players are like they have a lot of grit.
So. I believe. I very much believe. And well, ladies and gentlemen, that is gonna do it for today's episode of The Storm. I know I promised a short episode, but man, we got into the nitty gritty. It was. I feel like these conversations needed to happen. These conversations needed to be talked about. These things just have to be expressed by the people us people at the end of the day. We are the people. We the people. Okay? We are them. We are him. So, going out, Mike, anything you want to say before we go out?
About to go to bed, bro. I'm so tired.
I know. I'm sorry for dragging you to do a show. I know you're sick.
Yeah, I'm so sick right now.
Thanks for hopping on though. I really appreciate it.
We're locked in.
We are locked. Anything you want to tell the fans that you're doing, Mike, before I pass it to Phil?
Nope, man. I'm just gonna try to rest and heal. Honestly, that's really all I'm gonna do right now.
And Phil, what do you want to say, man? Shout it out for the people at home.
Shout out to my parents. Love you guys.
Shout
of
out
course.
Mama Phenomm. Love her.
But I hope everybody who's watching this, who's in my position, who is like in their 20s, still competing in challengers, just hang in there. Find something else you like to do. That doesn't mean you need to quit COD. And I've been there before where when I was living in California during COVID and it was not doing too well because everything was online, I'm especially a LAN player like myself. I sat down, I kept looking like, should I just quit? Don't beat yourself up. Just find something else like you do. Like for me, it's comic books, right? I do content now on TikTok and YouTube, and it's doing really well. And I work doing DoorDash, and I'm a full-time student too. So just have other avenues while you still scrim and play. Just don't put in 16, 18 hours and don't do anything else outside of your life. Like, just don't be lazy. Just find other things you want to do. Do that. Then scrim and play COD and do your tournaments and practice with your team. But don't just all go in COD. Just don't. It's gonna shoot yourself in the foot. Have a lot of respect for yourself to not do that. Because I learned the hard way. And now I'm good now. But like 3 or 4 years ago, I was in a very dark place. So I understand.
I agree. It's it's literally the same thing with me and casting, man. Like what was it? 2021, best year of my life. 2022, realized, hey, you can't just be casting 100% of the time. 2023, made strides to outsource and kind of build my network and my soft skills. 2024, it's the metamorphosis. We're fruitioning into something new. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much. Thank you to Mike, Phil, for coming on. A lovely episode. We'll be posting this one up on the YouTube here shortly. So make sure you guys go and support them at LightningDaJoke, at Phenomm _ Make sure you go check him out on TikTok as well. The man is a menace. He is a phenom. Word to the name. Ladies and gentlemen, you have a great night, great morning, great afternoon, wherever you are. If you're watching this on a post-VOD on YouTube, we'll be seeing you all in the next episode of The Storm. Bye-bye.
Yes, sir.
Peace.